brain sluice, slick with ectoplasmic juice. Ecstatic energy, a fire that fuels our memory. With genealogy, with spiritual topography. Questions for your answers, we are data necromancers.
There is this theme. I have so much I want to talk about. I wrote down, like, a ripe melon has got to be close to juicy, succulent alien puss because it tastes. I got some sort of weird variety, sun-kissed melon or something, and Ruby's like, I need the melon, I need it now. So I'm like hacking it up, and it's just like squirting on my face, squirting on the window. I'm like, Jesus Christ, is this thing alive? Like, it felt like it was alive. It was just like making all these like weird sounds, and I'm like, is this what
That's
really
so erotic.
tasty? This is what really tasty alien puss is like? And a good melon, man.
So bring it on, aliens.
So bring it on.
We're ready to eat you out.
We're ready to eat you out, alien puss. It better taste as yummy as a fucking a ripe sun-kissed melon.
I too have been indulging in melon recently. Is someone copying and pasting, or what is that noise?
It's me getting texts. Sorry. There. I think I fixed it.
I got a dino melon and I let it sit on my counter for like 5 days, and I ate it last night. It was exquisite. There's flavors in there that I can't even describe. It's delicious.
Have any of you guys had a ripe melon? I'm not talking cantaloupe, and I'm not talking fucking honeydew. Get that shit, because you were telling me, you're like, I don't like melon. I'm like, babe, wait a second. Have you seen the melon display at Central Market? There were 6 fucking
melon
varietals.
season,
and you can smell it. Like, it's crazy.
I'm smelling of melon.
Smelling of melon. But I was this theme that keeps coming up is how society, like you and I were talking about it. We were watching Iain McGilchrist. I'm fucking that name up. I can barely read.
It's basically the same.
And Lucas and I were talking about it. And then Erica sent me this like reel about how fucked American culture is. We all know that. That's why we're here. It's what brings us together. But I don't know where to start. So please, I feel very fractured. I feel really energized and fractured today. So Megan, please reel me in if I'm not finishing my sentences.
Of course.
But our society has scrubbed out so much stuff.
In favor of?
I get to drive my car from here to Walgreens at whatever time of day. There's another word for that. Autonomy?
Convenience,
autonomy. Lucas and I were talking about, we know a lot of people in their 30s who are single and always bitching about it. There's lack of passion. There's lack of drive because you're busy working all the time.
Your libido is sucked by your money-making efforts.
And on top of that, you're living in a very material realm where you're getting dopamine hits from porn or what food you're going to eat next, or what, girls looking up what vacations they want to go on based on its Instagram ability. We drive everywhere. We don't walk anywhere. No cities are walkable anymore. And think about how sick they would be if they were, especially as somebody who's got young kids. I want to take a train and walk around and walk from here to there. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. You got to go to SeaWorld to fucking do that. Or you got to go to the fucking mall.
Blackfish.
All of our food is void of nutrients because we won't ban any of the
irradiation.
Yeah. So we got to buy the supplements, and then you got to work harder because you need to make more money to buy the supplements to get the nutrients.
You're spiraling. Wait, there is some good yet in this world, Mr. Frodo.
I fucking had a 9-day migraine. Teresa called it my modern day pain initiation.
Yeah, fuck it, dog.
She said you practically had a near-death experience, and I was like, well, near-death and begging for death are likely the same thing.
Go into the clarity that ensued.
Okay. So, righteous headache. I would prefer to. I had a
headache is not a good enough word.
No. Righteous. It was the most excruciating pain in my life. I would have much rather given birth unmedicated 3 or 4 times. I much rather would have had kidney stones again when I was pregnant unmedicated.
Jeez.
because with kidney stones, there were breaks. You got to, after this like wave of a little tiny chunk of calcium absolutely destroying your really precious filtration system, you'd get a break. You're like, oh God, I got 20 minutes. I would like put the timer. I'm like, okay, collect myself. And then it'd come back. With a migraine, I feel every pulsation of blood and then when I would cough, it would feel like I was in a car accident. Like the amount of pain was crazy. I was hallucinating a lot. I was hallucinating a lot of Mayan stuff. I don't know what are you?
Because of the cake we made you for your birthday.
Maybe it was the fucking Chichen Itza cake that they made me. I don't know. I still have that in the freezer, by the way.
Hell yeah.
If you ever want to fucking
I was wondering
slice.
if it got eaten.
And it started, I was just like inhaling as much Tylenol as you can, which is just such a fucking joke. And then I'm assuming that Lydia's brain is going to stop developing. And
No!
I was just accepting my life as a mother of an impartial child due to my pain. Because you're that crazy when you're in that much amount of pain. But then, I've suddenly, my dreams are different.
Whoa.
And I don't think it's a coincidence. It might be. I'm open to that. But, you know, the night before the migraine started, my dad visited me. And he had eyes, and we were clearly communicating to each other, which never happens. It was very dream communication, right? Somebody's like, and you're like, yeah, I understand everything. But communicating directly with my dad, and he was telling me his issues on the other side. And then it's like the next day I get this crazy migraine. And now people are flooding my dreams with direct, clear communication.
Who else have you seen?
I don't know who they are, but they're coming up to me and they're asking me questions, and they feel familiar, but they don't look familiar to me. And then also, I have been strangely calm. There has been no chatter. I'm just driving and I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not thinking about like, oh, that homeless person's got a raging boner and they're injecting heroin into it. Because you see that shit on Berkman. God, I gotta start volunteering, because what's happening on Berkman, which is maybe 3 or 4 blocks from Let's Eat Austin, there's some nasty shit going on there. And I'm like, this is my neighborhood.
What would you do?
I don't know. You know how I feel about drugs, war on drugs, and homeless people, and I don't know, I gotta maybe reach out to somebody. I just want to help.
I could connect you with my friend Dana. She's the one who does Okta Malkuth, the orc. Do you remember when you wore your cloak?
Oh yeah.
So she was
she's been in my dreams too. I've had
Really?
dreams about, because she's opening up. So she's
the tiny Minotaur.
Can you explain in more detail this orc lady and her D&D lifestyle?
Well, the reason why I bring her up is because she was recently teaching Narcan and harm reduction processes, how you like save someone from an overdose. And she's really into building community too. The way that she builds community is through her, it's much bigger than a D&D campaign. It's like a whole lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. So she dresses up like an orc and she looks like one. Like
super realistic,
it's
like
super
beautiful.
Realistic. It's super cool.
Clothes.
She gets in the personality, and it's just like,
it's like she's Okta. There's Okta and there's Dana, but she's really inspirational because it feels like she uses her whole ass whenever she undertakes.
She uses her
another
whole ass
endeavor
for becoming an orc.
Yeah, absolutely. So she has created this tavern. It's like an incredible space. I haven't been in it since it's been completed, but it's for people to go and do their D&D stuff. I'm not initiated into the D&D world. I'm fascinated by it, but I've never actually played, and I don't know really what goes into it. I know that you create a character and you embody a character, but other than that, I don't really know what you do. I guess you go on missions and like collect things and trade things, whatever. But there is a place in town called the Tiny Minotaur, and that's the tavern that she's created for people to go. It's like
It looks super cool.
a private club. You have to pay membership dues to attend, but it is otherworldly.
It's like where a lot of I'm just gonna say D&D, but like role playing people hang out, and these people are fucking like going balls to the wall with
For
it.
real.
It's beyond LARPing. Like it's like I want to go.
Yeah, I want to go too.
I want to fucking go. I want to.
You would belong there with your cloak.
I would. It's like, oh, I could be a magician in there, and like it's not gonna be weird. I could just like be socially accepted.
You could be
in
whoever
this
you
space.
are, and
Yeah.
it fits. But yeah, to bringing her up, that was in regards to the drug usage on Berkman, and maybe what we can do is learn how to administer Narcan to people.
Yeah, I'd like to go. I watched Kids for Cash last night. I feel suddenly very. I've looked up how to volunteer in prisons before. It's not like I have a ton of time, but I really am so fucking tired of us going, I don't know, everything sucks. And it's just like, yeah, you don't know why? It's like, because throwing people in prison is not gonna do anything. It doesn't make anything go away.
Speaking of which, my incarcerated brother just got a job in prison.
I'm so glad, because he's kind of been on your case about giving him money, calling you for stuff that he wants, and it sucks because you're like, hey babe, I don't mean to sound like a bitch, but get a fucking job.
Yeah.
You know,
well, he's gonna get like 24 cents a day, but
I know.
I did send him $50 just because I wanted him to have some food. He said he's been losing a lot of weight because he used to get like money every month from a few people, and then they all stopped. So
just because, or was there a reason?
Well, one of the people was really sick and in the hospital, and then she hasn't picked it back up yet. But yeah, I don't know. I got a huge tip on Sunday,
yeah, babe.
and I was like, I'll spread this.
Yeah,
I'll share this.
The tip thing makes me feel back when I was making shit pots of cash.
Yeah.
You're like, here's $30 for the coffee, thanks, and then you're broke by the next week, but it doesn't matter because it's just like,
that's one of my favorite things to do is like tip service industry people if I've got the cash to spend, because I went to China Family and I had MAWPOD tofu. I was just craving it, and I left $40 for a, I don't know, $25.
Dude, when I lived in
bill.
Baltimore, every homeless person would bug me. I'm like, here's fucking $40. I remember this woman went buck and started kissing me, and I was like, oh, don't do that.
Oh no! I gave a 20 out the window a few weeks ago.
Don't do that. But
it feels so good.
But just like I was like, yeah, I don't fucking need it. What am I gonna spend it on a mocha? Here you go.
Yeah.
I loved.
Here, I'm gonna waste this.
Cash.
You better waste it instead.
Yeah, I don't care. Go buy fucking crack, heroin. I don't fucking care. Do whatever you want with it. And it's like people are like, you do know you're just supporting the drug habit. And I'm like, yeah. What did you think I was doing? Paying the rent?
Once you give the gift, it is no longer yours.
Don't care.
What they do with it is what they do with it. You can't anticipate what it will be used for. Then it's not a gift. It's a tool. But here's something interesting. Maybe. Is it interesting? Tell us. Yesterday, I've been working on breaking the Bob spell. I still love Bob.
I love, this has been a
ongoing
2-year
I know
endeavor.
But I started watching The Mask the other day.
I saw it. Yes, babe.
And I turned it off to go. I had to go somewhere, I think, or I had to go to sleep or something. But then last night, I watched a ton of episodes of I Think You Should Leave season 3 during the day. But then at night, I watched Jewish Matchmaker. I watched like 5 episodes of Jewish Matchmaker, and I was fast forwarding through all of the dates.
What's Jewish Matchmaker?
So it's a series on, I think it's on Netflix, maybe it's on Hulu, but it's this woman who was raised secular, but then became more religious, how does she put it, more orthodox in her later in life, and she helps people in the Jewish community find each other. And I was so interested in her and the way that she relayed things about the religion, I would fast forward through the dates just to get back to that lady and her talking about Judaism and all the different practices and rituals and high holidays and all the different ways to be an observant Jew. And I was so fascinated by it. I watched so many episodes, of course, fast forwarding most of them, because I don't really like watching an awkward date.
I don't know why anybody finds that fascinating.
I don't like it. I feel like embarrassed for both of them, and I just want to fast
cringy
forward.
And not like they're comedians trying to be funny or like Eric Andre cringy. It's like
it's yucky.
It's yucky.
But so there's different levels of dating in the Jewish world. Some people will like hug when they first meet each other, but some people they're doing I forget what it's called, Somer Nagaya. There's a principle where you don't touch each other until you get married.
Is that when you have to cut a glory hole through the sheet through the bed sheet?
That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
But so they don't even shake hands. They never touch each other until they get married. And then under the chuppah, the man takes the woman's hand and then both their hearts melt and they become soulmates. And I just I'm such a fiend for human religion and practice and ritual and all
that's why we're best friends,
all
babe.
the stuff that we come up with to do and pass on. And I think that was a huge part of it too. I was kind of almost jealous of this millennia long tradition that they're receiving genealogically, whereas what I'm receiving genealogically is
this is an old
a little
Frito
more
bag.
it's a little more fraught and not really something that I want to pass on. But to be a part of a tradition that is so ancient and so storied, like the 40 years in the desert, that's their ancestors, and the plague of locusts and all the Egyptian let my people go, Moses, all this shit, to be connected to that directly through your blood, it gives me the willies.
You're jonesing for a previous life where you were the matriarch and you bestowed this type of tradition onto your grandchildren and your great grandchildren and
it's
your
incredible.
gigantic family.
But this woman, her name is Eliza, and she, the way that she would speak to people who she's trying to make a match for with such authority, but also compassion and kindness, because they would say what they're looking for in a partner, and she would gently say well, this time we're going to entertain a little bit more.
I want big tits and a tight puss.
Yeah,
and
this one guy's she must be Israeli, she must be blonde, she must have blue eyes, she must those kinds of things. And she's okay,
I'm gonna get you a dark-haired bitch, and she's
she's
eyes.
Well, what about anything about her personality that's important?
No.
And he's open, because he has no idea, he's not a full person. But anyway, the things that I wrote down: value-based glue as opposed to physical glue. I'm fast forwarding these parts where they awkwardly date. Oh, that's not part of it. So value-based glue as opposed to physical glue, that's the Shomer Nagaya thing where you don't touch each other. You just actually speak and share your hearts.
Because of dudes like that.
Yes.
They're no, you don't get to see a nip.
Yeah.
Until you get married, because you're an idiot.
You don't even get to touch my skin. You get to learn about me and what's important to me, and connect with me, connect our hearts before we connect our bodies. And I was that's really cool, but also sounds really hard because I like being physical.
Don't we all?
And then another thing, I always love when guys have sisters, so they know how crazy girls can be. That I felt that. Because Lucas has sisters, and he seems so... Lucas seems so evenly keeled and ready to sort of calmly talk through whatever situation transpires. And he's got a wife, and he's got a daughter, and he's got sisters, and he's got a mother. All these different female examples for him to have grown up with. Whereas, I don't know, if people just grow up with men or brothers or whatever, they don't really know what they're getting into when they have a female partner. I thought that was really interesting. That was said by a woman who was going to do the Shomer Nagaya thing. And it kind of sad because she went on this date with this lovely young man who, was wearing a yarmulke, and they were both dressed up, and he was really funny. And it reminded me of the Christopher Hitchens article, like, women aren't funny. This guy was hilarious, and he was cracking her up, and that was on the top of her list. Like, I want someone, I want him to pray and have the same amount of religiosity that I have, but he's got to be funny. Like, he's got to make me laugh. He's got to make my abs hurt. And he was killing the game. But when it came to, like, how often she prays and the different ways that she observes the religion, he was a little looser. And
of course, because it's going to be hard to find somebody who's making you piss yourself, but also praying morning, noon, and night.
But he was willing to do the no touching until wedding thing. But they decided to stop dating, even though they had incredible chemistry, because he wasn't willing to devote himself to the religion as ardently as she was. And I thought that was a missed opportunity. But all the other people on there, I don't know. The show itself is sort of the second iteration of the concept. The first one was called Indian matchmaking, and it won a lot of awards because it, like, delves into the culture and, like, the different
one of the most
family
ornate,
structures and
beautiful,
things. So I'd like to watch
cultures.
that one too. I have a feeling I'll be fast forwarding a lot through the awkward dates, but it's just great to be able to peer into a whole nother world that I never would have any part in. I dated a Jewish guy in college, but never to the extent of, matchmaking.
Should we find you a matchmaker?
No, I gotta make my own match.
True. That would be just a fun dive into finding a badass older woman who just knows.
But for the Jewish matchmaking, it makes a lot of sense because a lot of Jewish people want to be with Jewish people.
Right.
And I don't have any prerequisites as far as religion goes. I guess I have preferences. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find.
That it's like, on Monday evening, you can find Rubbish Cook watching Jewish matchmaker as she eats a big plate of spaghetti.
That's my life.
I know.
So, okay, of the other media that I've been intaking, my book is getting wilder, and I love all the esoteric and hermetic references.
Does it make you want to dive into the sciences, the hermetic sciences?
Well, yes, and also the fact that I've been watching/rewatching a lot of Ancient Aliens. It's all the unanswerable questions that are just fun to kind of like speculate about.
So much fun.
So much fun. But
was the Ark of the Covenant a weapon of mass destruction?
Yes, it was, and that's how it was depicted in that Indiana Jones film, right? Because they opened it.
Well, they read all the quotes of the Bible from it, and you're like, oh yeah, that does sound like a laser beam that makes everybody sick who goes near it.
Yeah, and just this morning, one of the characters in my book was talking about how the Egyptians had created or had discovered some type of power that canceled out, or some type of magnetic power that was like not real true magnetism, but sort of like anti-gravity kind of thing, and that's how they moved all the large stones. That's what we're fucking
trying to Jones for right now. We're trying to figure out how to...
Right, because that seems like the technology that a UFO would espouse to get to do all of its crazy maneuvers. And like the propulsion, it's never propulsion because they're always a spinning disc.
Okay, that wants me to segue into a fork in the road, if you will.
Yeah.
One where McGilchrist?
Let's say it's Iain McGilchrist. It's usually Gilchrist. McGilchrist. Iain McGilchrist. IAINMCGILCHRIST.
He's got some books we need to read, baby.
Ooh, I love reading books. I
took screenshots of...
Same.
Okay, my phone is recording, so
oh, good.
I cannot look at them. There was one at the end which kind of sums up his his right brain versus left brain. Is it still rolling? No! Don't let the broom get you. Murphy!
Oh shit, doggy. Why'd you get up?
They're so annoying. There's that, and he talks about, you get a lot of these scientists coming forward who's saying that they're so tired of the environment in academia and in scholarly discovery. They're like, dogma's taken over. And everything's become so dogmatic that you can't offer new opinions, new ways of thinking, because people are like, nope, that's not what I believe.
This is the way we've done it, and this is the way we'll continue to do it.
And he thinks that society is eroding because we've had the left brain, the logic, reason, and essentially the way he describes the hemispheres is one is holistic and the other one is like narrow and empathetic and compassionate. You've got some screen caps for us.
Yes, so the left brain, hold the line. I've got to put on my glasses. Okay, so I don't know. Here's what I'm looking at.
You can send it to me and I'll put it on the screen.
Okay. So it says the left brain is mechanical. The living individual separates things into categories. It's the concrete world. It's blurry if I zoom in. But this is sort of the older version. And then, oh man, I thought I'd be able to decipher from my screenshots. So the right brain is sort of the intuitive mind. And then the left brain is the rational mind. So he's saying,
the left brain has ruined society. Did I say
yes,
that?
the left brain is the emissary and the right brain is the master. So this talk that we listened to was the master and the emissary. He's okay. Just lay down, you little turd burglar. The master and the emissary. So the right brain is the more expansive sort of, I think they also said that it was more like predator, or no, wary of predators. And then the left brain was the prey brain, like, fuck, I don't know. I should have written it down.
This is what happens when we only
black.
get a few hours before the podcast to research.
All I know is the one with Jordan Peterson. I wrote, God, I can't unhear Kermit the Frog when I listen to Jordan Peterson.
I'll try to watch the Jordan Peterson one because I have less of a preconceived notion of him, because we were talking about how that has kind of...
That sort of sullied my experience of that talk, because it felt like he was just steamrolling Dr. McGilchrist. If he's a doctor, I'm not sure.
I don't think he is. He's a philosopher, a psychiatrist, and a neuroscience researcher.
Mr. McGilchrist. But so they were talking about the concept of God, and I thought this part was kind of interesting, and how God is sort of the omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent force. So if you are all powerful and you know everything and you are everywhere all at once, then what do you lack? And so the answer to that question would be limitation. And so I guess God would create us because we are the limited ones. We are the thing that God is not. We have limitations, like we have free will, just
which is inherently
limitations.
Full of limitations.
And I thought that was really interesting, as far as like comparing ourselves to this omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent force that we refer to as God. And we should sort of embrace our limitations because they make us who we are.
I like to McGilchrist was talking about how I didn't watch that one, but I watched this animated one because I needed it to be animated, and I needed it to be less than 10 minutes long because I do not have any free time.
If you want to look at this and try and remember.
But he was like, I believe that there should be a centralized part of government for inverse policy. So you take every policy and you turn it inside out, and you look at it, because he thinks the way that dogmatic science has ruined and sullied science is we're not allowed to look at. And you see that in our pervasive identity politics and how that's eroding a lot of our
sense of unity.
And it just makes either side seem way more crazy than they really are. Where was I going with this? But to observe the inverse and to speculate and go, oh, that's fascinating. He's like, we don't do that anymore. It
just seems like everybody's so angry and has a point to make, and they can't hear what the other person is saying because they're only focused on their own point.
And he's talked about how the left side of the brain, how it naturally and inherently takes over, becomes this very logical, bureaucratic way of operating in society, and law and order becomes the main operative, and how that losing the intuitive part of your brain and the creative and the whimsy and the imaginative gets scrubbed out. And I was like, here's that fucking theme again that has been brought up by 4 different people in my life about how people, and you see like suicide's the number 1 killer in America. You see kids shooting up schools, and it's just like this way of life that sure has made everything organized, and there's a customer care 1-800 number to call, and all these facets and bureaucracy and stuff. But it is eroding the human spirit. And it is making us, I think, gravitate more towards porn and
quick
fixes, and we've lost our unity as a whole. And I think he said this was, I want to know more about this. There's some books that he has that sound like I got to get these right now. The Matter with Things and The Master and His Emissary.
Yeah, The Master and His Emissary is the right brain and the left brain.
Yeah, and he just talks about the way we construct Western thinking. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude. It's kind of hard to sit and watch these people just scientifically talk. I have a hard time like paying attention and staying with that. But reading it's way easier for me to understand.
It's better if there's captions.
Yes. And he said it's our 3rd time eroding society with left brain thinking. And I was like, I want to know the other 2 times.
Well, one of them was definitely ancient Rome. Yes.
This is a fragmented, blip I got. But Egypt was always ruled by women until after Cleopatra. And I want to know what happened there. It's like women were, well, back then too, before everything was scrubbed out, you were a scholar, you were an artist, you were like this whole person, you were a philosopher.
As a woman?
Yeah, or just as a person. Like you went to school and you became all of those things. You were not just, I just like to paint. It's like Cleopatra was all of them.
Yeah.
And a warrior. You had to know how to fight. And, just like, and that's the thing.
You develop all your faculties.
And that's the thing that I want everybody. You all need to know how to fucking change a tire on a car. Why? Because you own a car. It's like, I want everybody to know how to
the fundamentals.
It just seems good. It just seems like
it would do you well.
It would do you well. It would do everybody. Like, why would you get rid of home ec? Why? It's like teaching people how to make a fucking egg. It's like the most important thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I always think about Whitney's Utopia and how everybody would get their paycheck in the mail just for being alive, and people would meet 2 or 3 times a week to share food and thoughts and philosophies and jokes and music. It sounds beautiful. And I think that we can initiate, and
you would listen to people that you don't agree with. Like I'm seeing, Jordan Peterson said this. Okay, but can we listen to him? It's like we've So should I not watch this?
Yeah, I don't want to just
that?
be
Yeah.
deaf to someone because, I think he's a turd.
They're an
I
idiot
can
when it
listen
comes
to a
certain
turd.
things.
Yeah, it reminds me of this book my Aunt Carol gave me about, let's see. She's sort of part of that wave of people who's anti-1619 project. And the 1619 project is sort of a revisitation of the history of enslaved people in this hemisphere. So, it brings to light all of these not new stories, but old stories that were just sort of suppressed by the white establishment. And so she thinks that history revisionists, they want to rewrite history in their own favor. So she gave me this book that's anti that. And it's talking about how, people of color constructed their own demise in some way. And I was like, dude, I'm not gonna read this. This isn't.
But also you should.
I should have. But that's what I'm saying. I should have read it so I could say
it's now
this is bullshit and I've read it.
This has become the punk rock thing to do. I don't agree with him, but I watched the thing.
Yeah.
He made one good point. I didn't agree with the rest of it. That is now fucking obliterated.
Absolutely.
Like I tell people I listen to Joe Rogan and they go on these I'm like, dude, have you listened to it? No, I won't. And I'm like, okay, so
right. And I don't want to be like that, even though my knee-jerk reaction is Joe Rogan is an idiot. I don't know, I need to investigate that and see why I think that, because one of my heroes, Tim Heidecker, thinks Joe Rogan is an idiot. And he also thinks Jordan Peterson is an idiot. But I need to investigate those things and make my own determination. I think it's dangerous when you just fall in line with...
Tom Fitz is bringing up the dangerous ideology. My worry is listening to people with bad ideas is that you can separate their good from their bad ideas, and other people can. And by watching them, you're giving them views and giving them credibility. Dude, I'm not going to put myself in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. I'm not only going to fill my bubble with only opinions in fear that these other ones are. And I think there are, my dad was one of them. You couldn't fucking talk to him about anything that deviated from his point of view because it made him enraged. But the more we push them aside and plug our ears and say, la, 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 this doesn't exist, the more power you're giving to the people who only listen to them, in my opinion. I think that's just because you don't want to listen to it or give it views doesn't degrade its credibility. I don't think you have that impact. I think if you're like, oh yeah, we gotta start crossing the divide.
Yeah.
And because I think what's happening is you're seeing people who are saying some just absolutely insane shit. So you block them. That shit gets worse. That guy's not going to stop feeling that way because I've blocked him or won't listen to him.
That's true. But also it's not my responsibility to police what other people are saying. And I don't want my brain to fill up with garbage. Because my brain is very like a sponge and susceptible to... Not that I can't differentiate between good things that go in and bad things that go in, but my time on this earth is so short, and I don't necessarily want to fill it with
neither do I.
Some idiot's bullshit.
No, neither do I. But I refuse to have to not listen to them. Okay, I'll listen. Oh yeah, it's weird. I
do want to do my own research, because I think it's important to make my own decision.
I just think what's happening is dangerous. I don't think it's going to solve the problem. I don't think...
Yeah, it just further separates everybody.
Yeah, having the internet in your pocket just gives you this sweet, soft, squishy bubble. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah, it just seems like people get more and more separate every day.
Yes, it does. And I don't know, me and my conspiracy brain, I'm like, is it orchestrated? Is this a psyop to keep us divided and fighting because the alien stuff is real and it's coming out?
Well, it might be, but
or is that just how we naturally are, and we're just
my
like
inclination
smelling
is
each other's
that this
underwear?
is just a big train wreck. Fucking
That's been going on since
nobody knows
forever.
where it's going to end, and there is no particular prescribed ending. It's just this thing wasn't supposed to go this far, and it just keeps going further and further. And who
humans like
knows
to
where
take
it's
it to,
gonna
like,
go?
the next level. I don't know where it's gonna go either, and I'm so tired of it. And it's just like,
Oh, I bask in it. It's a joy to experience.
sure. I mean, but I'm also just like, man, we could get so much more done if everybody was just tired of airing out their dirty identity politics underwear on the fucking social media.
Yeah, and I
like,
think all that stuff gets more views because it is incendiary and it pisses people off. People want to, another train wreck reference, they want to gravitate towards the violent chaos. They want to like view it. But like the good things where people are making spaghetti and handing it out to people for free, like
just doesn't.
you don't see that.
No.
But it's happening.
Do you want to do that later? Because it sounds great.
Yeah, I do. My cousins do that.
Fuck yeah.
They do that like every week.
Yeah, I need to. I've been on like, every Wednesday I have like a metaphysical group that I meet with, and a lot of them do service, and I was like, that's what I'm missing from my life.
That's a big Ram Dass thing too.
Why am I not doing more service? Like, and I'm sure I could bring Ruby.
Yeah, she would love that.
Why can't we? Because I used to volunteer a lot as a kid. I was in nursing homes and runaway youth dinners, and I used to do a bunch of shit. And then here comes modern society being like, you're busy. You're so fucking busy, aren't you? You're just so busy. And now I want to like go volunteer in prisons, and I just want to get back to that lifestyle.
Well, I do want to say that this effort is a good thing, and it nourishes people in a different way. They might not be homeless, but they're grateful for the extension of yourself offering to them, you know?
Yeah,
this is a good thing.
I always have existential struggles with the amount of work I put in to share my views on the internet. But I feel committed. I also feel a little passionate about production, and I went to school for, audio stuff too. This is another thing I was going to bring up. We were talking about it last night. Skirt!
Through changing lanes. Hold on to your butt.
Do you think that there's a deficit of passion in the women that you know in your life? This is, and obviously we're not making big swath generalizations, but we are.
Passion.
I think of all the women I've met.
Well, no, that's hard because I'm mainly thinking about you and Emma, and you're both
right, because fire. The people you've picked into your orbit have to be passionate about something. But I was like, man, didn't women used to be passionate, about...
But then after 2,000 years of being tamped down, what happens to the spirit?
I mean, but we were bakers and the cooks and the craftsmen.
When?
In the 50s? Didn't we have Tupperware parties? Maybe in the 1800s? Do I have to go back that far?
Well, I don't know. Like craftsmen specialists, those usually were men, I feel like.
I mean, like the arts, the home arts, the crochet, the painting, the gardening, the growing of food, the picking of food,
they used to like make the clothes for their family and repair the clothes. I don't know whose family we're talking about, but I'm sure there were women seamstresses. And you don't have any seamsters.
Oh shit! What was I just about to say? Lucas was talking about hen houses and how. Oh fuck! What was I just talking about?
Did you say hen houses?
Yes. Hold on.
Keep it down.
Pneumatic bank air transfer system 1 Whitney 0.
Lucas would say about hen houses.
I went out. The day of no pain. It was somebody's birthday, and we went downtown to go out to eat a late ass dinner. And I forgot how much toddlers need to be in the city. Oh, there is so much to look at and so much to do. And seeing Ruby just, her eyes light up. There's like the penny cabs with the neon and they're blasting music. She's like, can we go on that? And I'm like, yeah, babe, let's fucking hop on. I don't have any cash on me, but maybe they take Venmo. And the lights and the sounds and I was wearing a crop top, so I had my big pregnant belly hanging out.
Yeah.
And I sipped on Lucas's Negroni and I was like marveling. But to be in a restaurant, there were 2 tables full of like maybe 10 to 15 women, and they were all just like taking selfies the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Be here now.
What? Oh my God, speaking of Be Here Now, fucking Rick Rubin, the master sage, hella producer. He's produced from Jay-Z and Beyonce to System of a Down, and they were talking about he was talking about chop suey, and he's like, the magic is in the moment. Joe Rogan's like, tell me more about that. And he's like, Surge had this like awesome song going. It was chop suey, and he had this one part he didn't have any lyrics for. So I told him to go in my library, pick a book, and pick out the first sentence. And that became
when angels
Father,
deserve
to your hands, I
commend my spirit, Father, to your hands.
It was like, he's like, it fit so perfectly in the song.
You just picked that
from a
out?
book. First sentence.
Was it the Bible?
I don't know. They didn't talk about what book it was, but it was just like,
because that's from
the power
Bible.
of the now. I remember Teresa asking me, if you send me a video, it will never get watched. I don't get to watch a show that I like ever. It's such a bummer. But that's why I gave Toaster his own channel. Just type out the thing you want me to see, because I'm not going to watch it. I don't have time. Like the schizophrenia, paying attention to the now, or like the truth gecko, like, hearing a beep.
What's truth gecko?
That's from Costa Rica. And sitting on Aaron's front porch, we were sitting out there talking for hours, and then in the 3rd hour you say something really profound, and then the gecko starts going wah, wah, wah. We're like, truth gecko, it's like affirming the thing that you just said. It was funny. I was like telling Teresa my dream about my dad, and the doorbell came on the second I like related the migraine and talking to my dad. And I was like,
the buzzer of affirmation.
It was the truth doorbell. But the moment that you're constantly in, or trying to get away from, or fill it with media, or fill it with something else that isn't the present, is ripe with magic and ripe.
It feels so luxurious to me to just be right there and nowhere else. It almost feels like I'm cheating, but
sort of.
It's like, okay, this is it. And I'm not gonna, my big thing is like wanting to show everybody, like, look how cool this, and then I'm like, oh wait, it's just for me. I don't have to share it. It's mine. And I can just, no one ever has to know about it. And it almost feels like I'm withholding from like these people that I usually will like let in and demonstrate how cool I think everything is. But recently I've just been like, I'm not gonna share it. I'm just gonna have it for myself, and it feels delicious.
Which is
and
cool, because I
amazing.
feel like you're cutting a dopamine rush.
Yeah,
which I'm all about. I want you to stop fucking getting your dick hard because you ordered the food from the one. It's like, for some reason I just want to take it. I want to take it all from me. I want to take it all from everybody else. Like,
what do you mean? Take what all?
Those jonesing for dopamines, those things that keep us addicted to the things,
our habits
that I'm sure it's like,
oh, I just remembered a dream I had from last night. Please continue.
A percentage of us would just wither like a potato chip and die if
we didn't have our dopamine.
Yeah, because sometimes you need the little thing,
well,
or you need the big thing. But then I think that hit needs to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's like porn. It starts rewiring your neural plasticity, and suddenly you need to jerk off to this
Brazilian fart porn
in order to reach anywhere. And then what happens if you meet a babe?
What is that ratcheting up called? We've talked about it so many times on the pod. The ratcheting up of intensity that you have to keep seeking out.
Lucas was making the connection with music. He's like, it's called hardcore because it's just like, you know, angry white guy. It's like screaming really hard because it's just like, it's got to bring you to the next level.
Yeah,
otherwise you
life
can't get it off.
sucks and I hate it. It's so hard.
Boo. Boo, boo.
That's why I like funk. I like funky music. I like R&B.
I don't know. I came in your house the other day and you had the Cranberries playing, and then there was something else. That was a bomb-ass playlist, though.
Oh, what else? What else? I've been really into, like, 90s club music recently. Listening to La Bouche. Be my lover, wanna be my lover. It makes me think of A Night at the Roxbury. Fuck a duck. I feel like I was about to ask you a question. What was the question I was about to ask? Suck a motherfucker. Piss. Oops. Is that supposed to come off? Is everybody in the chat room?
Yeah, Teresa just popped up and said, good introductory Iain McGilchrist interviews where he's not being steamrolled. Yes, Peterson definitely talks too much when he's interviewing someone, lol.
That's true.
Would be unheard in Rebel Wisdom. Rebel Wisdom is where the animated, or no, yeah, it's like an affiliate channel where the animated thing of the McGilchrist theories and pontifications. Did you remember your question? No, bank foomp.
Oh, but I remembered my dream of last night.
What was it?
I was in Drake's mansion in Toronto. I assume he has a mansion in Toronto. But it was more like an amusement park or like a museum. And there were so many people, like all these little ladies dressed to the nines, waiting to get their chance to like see and talk to Drake.
I don't understand Drake. I never will.
I don't find
he does
him
live
to
in
be...
a mansion and it is in Toronto.
So Emma was there with me.
50,000 square feet.
I don't know how much that is. My apartment is like 300 square feet.
This is 15.
Okay. Yeah, if I had a house that big, I would ride a scooter around in it. Dude, that is what it looked like in my dream. No, for real, the colors. This color was everywhere in my dream. That's insane.
Let me scream.
What the fuck? No
I'm
way.
Gonna scream. I told you I've been dreaming about somebody from my past.
Why Drake?
And he looked so different. And so I looked him up and he looks the way he does in my dreams. So there's some...
But what? I guess because I've been talking to David and he lives in Toronto.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you're astral projecting and you're actually...
I landed in Drake's mansion? What the French toast? Holy Jinko jeans.
See, this is obscene to me. Like, just having that kind of money and you're not, like, feeding people.
Well, he may have philanthropic extensions.
It's not enough because you live in a house like that.
I don't know, man. That's the whole thing about accumulating money. Would you do shooty hoops in there? Yeah, I would fucking launch it from all the way half court and I would nail it. Holy shit balls. I'm surprised there aren't stripper poles on the basketball court. TBH. Drake, you nasty.
I kind of want that oven, though.
Is that a Viking? What's a Gen-R?
Demand perfection.
Off-brand.
Okay.
The finest.
No, I bet you it's
the
more
finest
expensive.
meats.
Yo!
No. Well, now science is telling us we shouldn't have gas stoves in our homes because of the air quality. But
well, it's too late now, bitch.
I know, bitch. What the fudge? Because
I've cooked on electric, and I'll tell you what, that shit ain't coming to my house.
No, thank you.
Looks
no, the thing now is induction
clean.
Burners.
It's way easier to clean. It's only $7,000.
7 large. If I had $7,000, here's what I would do.
Dual fuel. What the fuck is dual fuel?
What?
Also, remote access. Why do I need a Wi-Fi communicate?
The combi oven at Aaron's has a remote access.
That's a little bit different because he's like, I feel like he's making croissants and shit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Maybe,
like it's a
proof
proof
lives
box.
across the street.
I guess it's for long, slow cooks, like a braised meat.
Slow
If I had $7,000,
kiwi on pizza.
7's not that much.
No, you can't do much with $7,000.
I guess I'd go on a nice trip though.
You could go on a really nice trip for $7,000.
I would find a restaurant that I've always wanted to go to and then plan a little trip itinerary around that restaurant.
I didn't know you had restaurants on your list. You didn't
I don't.
strike me as that. Oh, yeah. Like, you don't strike me as that kind of person.
Nah, but I'm sure there's a ton of good food out there that needs eating.
Yes. There's a falafel place in Ann Arbor, Michigan that I think about once a year. It is so.
Oh, really?
Where they're like, they're making, it's like you walk into this hole and it's like the ceilings are really low and there's like this 120-year-old woman making falafel.
Oh, I love the little scoop that they use to round
it's just
out
like
the balls.
whole process. And then the way that they wrap it, and then the crust. Here's the issue with falafel. I am a falafel connoisseur. If I go to Kebabalicious by Chipotle, it's fucking like, it's got a half inch of like crispy. It's
breaded?
You want the falafel to have a light, like you want it to be held together, but when you bite in, it's got to fall apart. Like, you know,
chickpeas and parsley
and feel
and garlic,
really fresh.
yeah.
But like a lot of those places are like deep frying it for too long, and then it gets like this thick fucking earth crust around it, and it's just like too crunchy, and you're like, what the fuck?
Aaron and I have decided the foods we want to make for Whitney for her baby shower, but we're not going to tell her.
Why does it have to be a surprise? Is it for real a surprise?
I guess it doesn't have to be a surprise.
Thank you.
We want to do it sometime in August. And I think it would be really dope to do like a Mediterranean spread.
And it's just going to be us three, and we're going to be butt naked and wearing cloaks, right?
Well, we
and
were
flower
thinking of
crowns?
inviting your husband and your child as well.
Okay. That sounds fine. That sounds amazing.
But yeah, we're like pita and like falafel and hummus, maybe some baba
If you guys
ganoush.
made homemade falafel, I would weep.
Yeah,
I would
we are.
weep.
That's part of the plan.
I would weep.
It's going to be all kinds of fucking veg and...
Full Metal, I need to know what else is on the pizza besides
Oh, dude, I
kiwi.
taught somebody risotto the other night. He was telling me about this hot dog pizza that he makes for his kids. And I was like, hot dogs on pizza? He's
I'll
like,
try anything.
yeah, you got to put ketchup and mustard
cheese and
and cheddar
kiwi.
cheese.
Does the kiwi become less sweet when you bake it? I don't know. I'll try it. I'm not put off by it.
What else goes on it?
Kiwi, mayo, and cheese.
I'm good, though. But I would try it.
Dude, I made some like
Sounds gross, though.
some pizza with like heavily seasoned mayonnaise, fontina, this expensive ass pepperoni because it was the only one at Central Market I could find, Kalamata olives and pepperoncini. I just put it in the broiler for like a second.
Whoa. On what dough?
Garlic naan.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. It sounds amazing. So, I guess in conclusion, we want you to watch Jewish Matchmaker.
We want you to be pleasured by somebody.
Oh, I
and
wrote
not-
this down from the
Ooh.
beginning.
Why won't this thing stand up?
From the beginning of the pod, where you were saying your dad's visitation
Yes.
prompted your immense pain journey,
Yes.
which clarity followed.
Yeah.
And then, so now you're just getting visited in your dream by other people who also seek out your audience?
I've just noticed the clarity is waking. There's no incessant chatter, judgment, anger, anxiety, background noise of my brain that I often ignore or have to turn down the volume on.
Is that feminine? I often think that since I read that thing about the communication between our two spheres, our two hemispheres, that's like what happens in female brain as opposed to male brain.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And the reason why we like chatting with each other so much.
It's because it just helps alleviate the pressure of
Yeah, because it's
existence.
constantly zooming in our brains, so we need to let it out. And that was another Jewish mother adage that I learned last night. When you open your mouth, the world becomes smaller. Because, okay, so imagine you're looking for a nice Jewish boy for your daughter. so you're at a restaurant and you talk to the maitre d' and you're like, I'm looking for a nice Jewish boy for my daughter. And he's like, oh, I know a nice Jewish boy. We can set him up. Or, you know, you're at the hardware store looking for a certain size of screw. And you're like, I'm looking for a nice Jewish boy for my daughter. And then you like tap into that community as well. So like you open your mouth and you say what you want and the world gets smaller because other people get on your task as well. I thought that was really cool.
That is the opposite of what I thought you were talking about. It's like the quote, the less he spoke, the more he heard. And what knocked me into self-awareness. Do you remember becoming self-aware?
No.
Oh.
No. But do you?
You do. I had my tonsils removed and it was a very painful process because I was, 18 or 19. And I had to go to work. And I asked my dad, I'm like, how am I supposed to serve people if I can't talk? And he goes, smile and nod. Just smile and nod. And so I did that. And I could see, since I couldn't talk, how much more people were paying attention to, like, is she happy? What's going on? And I was like, oh shit. All of a sudden, the less I spoke, the more I heard. And it really kind of like fucking.
That makes a lot of sense too. That the Jewish mom thing is in service of achieving a goal having to do with community and like having access to community. But that I heard from my English teacher in 12th grade. She said, if you're always transmitting, how can you ever receive? You know, you gotta sit down and shut up sometimes and just listen.
Gotta sit down and shut the fuck up. Magic says, where can I find my big titty goth girlfriend? Fuck yeah, let's find, or let's start.
She's out there.
She's out there, man. I can feel it. You just gotta keep putting in the work, Toaster.
Join the chat room of big titty goth girls.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. We gotta find a real one.
The real ones don't go to chat rooms?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that's like a catfishing arena?
It feels like it. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like chat rooms weren't what they were in 2000 and even 10. I feel like things have changed so much since then.
Did you get a new ring?
I did. It's too big, but I bought it anyways.
I love it.
What was your closing thought? Clarity.
Yeah.
Did we nail it?
The pain journey followed by clarity.
It's temporary, I'm sure, but I'm going to keep you guys posted. I'm going to keep you guys fucking posted. Lucas and I are going to go live on Thursday night.
Oh, sweet.
He's excited.
Wait, at what time?
Like 9, whenever Ruby goes to bed. So 9 or
You have
9:30.
a class to teach on Thursday.
Yeah, at 11 a.m.
It's at 11?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. Let's check that. For some reason, I thought it was dinner, but you may be right.
That corporate stuff tends to be in the AM. I saw that chick emailed us back. Sorry, that's off.
Work
off
stuff.
Work stuff. You got any more questions for us now that we round the hour?
Oh, real quick.
Yeah, babe.
A thing that I've been saying to myself to help me feel like I can trust my own expertise and my own judgment is, if I think something is good, then it is good. And that's really been helping me, because usually I will like seek someone else's approval or seek someone else's expertise, but I'm learning to realize that I have a wealth of experience and knowledge to draw on myself, which has been really lovely and uplifting for my spirit.
Do you feel validated?
Yeah, I'm learning to get validation from myself instead of from
I feel like you don't have to
others.
think about it very hard, right? You're like, oh, no.
Yeah, I dwell on it a lot less. I have more confidence that I'm making the right decisions and I'm not like getting mired in the possibility that it's bad or like I made the wrong decision or whatever. I'm like,
Is that where you used to spend a lot of your time?
Most of it.
Shut the fuck up.
For real.
No way.
Yeah. I think that's why I retreat into comedy so often, because it's like safe and I know that it's good or that it's effective. It's like a big distraction.
That is so wild to me.
Why?
Because you're like smart and all-knowing and you know everything. And then you're like, to hear that your inner self is dwelling in a place of not that. I'm like, how? But I'm sure we're all doing that to a certain degree.
Yeah, I don't know. It sucks to not think of myself the way other people think of me. But I'm working on it.
Everybody wants to know when you're getting on a motorcycle again. We could do it tomorrow. We can do it whenever.
No, I have to edit that huge
Not
pizza
tomorrow.
video.
Not this week, but I'm just saying, we can get up early one morning and get you on the bike.
Yeah, I haven't really felt a pull in that direction.
You
recently.
don't have to either if you don't want to.
I don't know. I would like to try a dirt bike.
I desperately want one. Yeah, the issue is access to stuff like that.
I am game to try again.
She is game to try.
And gay to try.
She's game to try. She's gay to try.
Gay for motorbikes.
Gay for motorbikes. Dude, the garage.
Oh, with the ball, the bang, diggy, diggy, diggy.
We're selling the Bronco. We're selling the BMW. We're looking at Astro vans. Also, God, there have been some really cool vans that they've made in the past.
Are you getting a shaggin' wagon?
Yeah, it was like... Our garage doesn't represent who we are, like, at all.
Why do you say that?
We got a big, fancy, fucking expensive off-roading machine, and we don't go off-roading. That's stupid. It's a waste of money.
Huh. What was the initial drive to get it?
Because I'm a big neo-retro person, and they were remaking an old.
The old ones were so dope.
The old ones are so dope. They're so hard to find.
Neo-retro.
So there's a big change coming. I'm like, why don't I have the motocross bike that I want? Why?
I don't know.
Why do I have fancy motorcycle? I'm so over it. I'm having like a big come to bicycle Jesus moment. And it's so funny. I watch myself get consumed. I'm sure you watch me get consumed all the time by a thought or a desire or a notion. And
She's got
like,
many white whales.
All right, there goes Whitney again. See you later. There she goes.
No, I admire your passion.
I guess I am very passionate
You're
about it.
passionate, baby.
And if I realize that I've been doing it wrong the whole time, I'm
What?
passionate about that.
There's no wrong way. You just gotta do it a different way another time.
There's
Right?
not going to be a whole video coming out about it.
About what? The wrong way?
Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. Thanks for chatting with us. I don't know what Lucas is.
Oh, do you think maybe he fucked off?
I don't know. Is this the moment he disappears forever?
No.
Welcome to my paranoia.
Paranoia.
I would eat pizza right now. I would eat pizza with kiwi on it, you fucking Wisconsin freak.
I want that pickle pizza again. What?
Yeah, Megan and I went to a pizza place in Lockhart, and the first thing we both saw on the menu was...
I think it was called dill bread.
Oh, it was just fucking dill pickle slices, cheese, and then a side of real ranch. Ranch that had actually been seasoned.
Yeah, and it had buttermilk in it.
It had buttermilk in it, and it had herbs. It wasn't this fucking flavorless paste.
Yeah, it wasn't like mayonnaise with cow jizz in it. That was the original ranch.
No. Doesn't that suck? I hate when you're like, ooh, ranch, and then you taste it and you're like, oh, is this fucking glue? What is this? It's just like an office supply that they like dumped into a fucking container. There's no salt or parsley or just
There's
anything.
usually some dead dusty flecks in there.
Get your dead
Unrecognizable
flakes away from me.
Your flecks. I hex your flecks.
Also, just making ranch from scratch is so easy, and it is So good.
I didn't like ranch until I made it my fucking self.
Yes. Yeah, I feel the same way. I didn't like Caesar dressing until I made my own Caesar dressing. And you're like...
No, I feel the same way. Because I feel like other people put way too much oil and it makes it super bland. And I like it when it's fucking punchy.
Dude, I remember watching Pam's face when she ate a salad I made. Because she's... Like, you open the fridge and there's...
It's like sweet dressing.
Stacks on stacks on
Catalina,
stacks on stacks
Italian,
of
light
bottles
Italian.
of dressing. And I'm like, you do know this stuff is outrageously flavorless and disgusting.
Yeah, and they got to put all this embalming fluid and shit into it to make it last.
Yeah, they do RBT and...
It's a bummer.
I think it's an atrocity. I think there's some shit. Okay, you have 3 real quick before we go. Just real quick.
No, this is gonna take 45 minutes. Let's go.
Real fucking quick. You're president for 8 hours.
Okay.
There's 3 things you get to do to kind of scrub off our miserable existence. What do you do?
For 8 hours. I bequeath Camp David to the homeless. It's a new free village to live in.
My first thing was like banning dressing.
Ban dressing? I don't think the president has anything to do with dressing distribution.
Fucking
you just
ban dressing.
An edict goes out to all nations in all directions. There shall be no bottled dressing in the kingdom of Whitney. I don't know. I would give tax incentives to poor people. I don't know. I would drain the swamp, I guess. Pull the plug.
You'd get assassinated by hour 7.
But I will have done some good in my short 8-hour presidency.
Teresa asked, when is our line of dressing coming out? Here's the thing.
It doesn't last that long.
It doesn't last long. I feel the same way when my friend Ricky was coming out with canned cocktails. You can't use fresh juice. Because it's not shelf stable. So you have to rely on scientists for all the shelf stabilization. And I was like, I would just quit that job because a cocktail relies heavily on the flavor component of
and what
citrus.
it is really is like the flavor compounds themselves called terpenes. They have a very transitory existence in this realm. They last for minutes, and that's why fresh citrus juice is so magical, and it doesn't last.
She said, when's the cookbook coming out then? We've all talked about that. I've talked about coming out with a punk rock cocktail book because I do everything that's wrong and it tastes great. And Megan sent me this beautiful meal prepping email.
See, but you could tell how it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger in every direction, and I couldn't contain it. Like, that was my 2nd or 5th attempt. Like, I have all these started things where they just like get out of hand, and I'm like, fuck that, I'm not going back into that, I'm starting another one. And like, this is like part of my inability to like focus, I guess.
Well, then you need chapters. I think that's where chapters come in handy.
Yeah.
Because then that chapter can be as long as you want it to be.
Yeah, I think if I make an outline, and the outline gets crazy, and then I never actually start fleshing out the
I would help
what's
you.
in the outline. Oh! My dad's girlfriend, Lori, messaged me, and she said, do you want me to send this to you, or should I throw it away? And it was a picture of a paper that I wrote in college about heaven, hell, and purgatory in the Matrix, and she's sending it to me, and I can't wait to read it to you.
A picture, but like the picture contains all of the words. I'm just thinking it was...
Well, it's not one page.
She found...
In her house.
She found the essay, and she's like, hey, do you want this?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's awesome.
I'm excited to read it. I was mad that I didn't have any of my school stuff anymore. Here it is. So the title is something Neo, the modern savior in heaven, purgatory, and hell via the Matrix trilogy. And then it looks like I highlighted the main topic. Treating this series of films as modern day blank allows us to unlock the new wave of religious values that we each hold as blank in culture and society. I'm just really excited to read it because I want to see into 2009 Megan's brain.
Will you do a live MAWPOD reading of your essay?
Yeah, I'd be honored to.
Fuck yeah. I want to hear that word for word. Maybe
I remember that teacher too. She was dope. Her name was Professor Robin
Finkelheimer,
and she was visiting from Notre Dame. So she had like this mystical Catholicism about her, and we actually we read this really cool book called The Devil or the Demons, what is it called? The Possession at Loudun, where all those crazy nuns, Ursuline nuns, were like spinning, and they were like,
shut the fuck up, what the fuck are you talking about?
all right, next pod.
What are you talking about? A bunch of nuns got possessed and were spinning?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You never heard of a whirling dervish?
You can't fucking drop this.
The main dude, like the abbot or something, was Urbane. Oh, what's his name?
Hold on.
Go, just type in The Possession at Loudun, Loudun. The Ursuline nuns. It's crazy, and it's one of the books we read for that class, because that class was all about heaven, hell, and purgatory, and its depictions.
The Loudun possessions, known in the French as the possessed of Loudun affair, was a notorious witchcraft trial that took place in Loudun Kingdom of France in 1634. A convent of Ursuline nuns said that they had been visited and possessed by demons. Following an investigation by the Catholic Church, a local priest named Urbain Grandier was accused of summoning evil spirits.
Yeah.
He was eventually convicted of his crimes of sorcery and burned at the stake.
Yep. I have a book about that.
Can I read it?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Dude, that's why I love studying religion. You get all the fucking cool shit that you can't figure out how or why or what the fuck. It's the best. So yeah, I remember reading that book in her class, and this was one of the papers that I wrote.
And you got an A.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an A bitch over here.
I be getting A's.
She be getting A's.
But that's because I love school.
Dude,
I love
whirling
approval.
dervishes. Hold on, I think I remember Lucas like getting me when I was drunk. He said something about a whirling dervish, and I fucking like pissed my pants. Can we start that? Like, can you and I become whirling dervishes? Because I feel like I'm getting emotional right now. Like, I feel like that's what I want to do.
Wait, what is it? What is it?
You spin around. You spin around. You dress up.
Wait, what is their... Sufi. Sufi's cool, man.
Look, I just want
cool.
to spin around and eat good food and dress up in... I just fucking gotta watch
commercials.
Fucking 18 ads.
The Sufi whirling dervishes, Istanbul, Turkey. I would fucking...
I want it. Come on.
I have a fez like that. My fez is about half that height.
Those fezzes are huge.
Look, it's only men.
Oh, there he goes.
Here we go. He's picking up speed.
Dude, how do you not vomit?
Because
or do you just
this
pray?
is part... It's probably due in part to going into a trance.
Why did they spin it up?
It seems like a religious trance. So you get access to the transcendental.
I'm getting emotional watching the whirling dervishes.
We need to do this. They don't go that fast. I thought they would have gone faster.
That's why they sped it up.
What's the music sound like?
Oh yeah, this is my shit. Can we go to Istanbul?
Did you ever hear back from those mall people?
No.
We need to go to that mall and do this in the mall. Fucking A, brother. Let's go.
You guys, I just want to do that.
We are going to make pickle pizza and be whirling dervishes in an abandoned mall of America.
There's an abandoned mall in Temple, Texas. It is Americana decay.
Oy.
It's just my shit. It's also Megan's shit. That's why we're best friends.
I want to get married on a broken escalator.
Yeah. The food court is abandoned. Nobody's there anymore. The roof's caving in. There's like this jewelry. Like if we got beautiful footage of being whirling dervishes in front of there's like a chain, like a wrapper chain jewelry store there that's going out of business. Like if you and I were just like
wearing,
I just want to cry,
1,000 chains at once. This is a dream that we have the ability and the power to fulfill.
Can somebody find us where we can get a whirling dervish?
The whirling dervishes home.
They're coming. The whirling dervishes are coming. All right, that's our cue, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta go.
Get this cleaned up. We gotta go.
Ah!